Here in the Bronx, first of three between the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have won 5 straight as they're trying to build on that momentum of an 8-2 homestand, and everything was clicking for the Blue Jays over those 10 games at Rogers Center. Take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons. Blue Jays here tonight. Troy Tulowitzki, top of the order, and then Josh Donaldson. He leads the majors with 81 RBIs, and he's also scored 79 runs. He has been a terrific hitter in that 2 spot. Edwin Encarnacion, he's riding a 9-game hit streak. Edwin has come up with some big hits, including a 4 RBI game last night in Toronto. He had an RBI double, a 2-run home run, and he had an RBI single. Edwin's swinging a hot bat right now.
Yeah, very deep lineup that the Blue Jays will throw out there tonight, and they'll face Nathan Eovaldi, who gets ready for his 22nd start of the season. He's already set a career high in wins with 11. You see, he's 11-2 with a 430 earned run average. Those 11 wins tied for the 6th most in the American League. He's also tied with Zach Greinke for the Major League lead with an .846 winning percentage. He has never faced the Toronto Blue Jays, and he comes in here hot. He's allowed 3 or fewer runs in 12 of his last 13 starts. Blue Jays are going to be in tough against tonight's starter for the Yankees.
They sure are. He's having a great first season with the Yankees. This is Troy Tulowitzki. He's making his 9th start since coming over to the Blue Jays. Those are his season numbers. A .301 average with 14 homers and 58 ribbies. He's batting right at the top of the order for the Blue Jays. Tulowitzki is set. Here's the first pitch of the ball game, and it is cut on and fouled back to the screen. Tulowitzki for the homestand hit .303. He had 11 hits and 33 at bats, a pair of home runs and 5 ribbies.
Boy, he just fit right in with the Blue Jays, didn't he? On defense at shortstop and right at the top of that lineup. They love having that power leading off a ball game.
Ball downstairs. It's a ball in the strike. John Gibbons knows this is a good ball club, and he has really seen things tightened up, and doesn't hurt to have that guy on his right. David Price, he will pitch tomorrow here against the Yankees.
Boy, I'll tell you what they're going to be facing tonight against Nathan Eovaldi. He's got one of the best arms in all of baseball. We've already seen him touch the high 90s right now with his fastball. And the one pitch that's really come back for him is that splitter. That might have been it, that last pitch right there to Tulowitzki.
Eovaldi's just 25 years old. He's a youngster. Started out in the Dodgers organization. Made it to the big leagues with the Dodgers in 2011. 98, but downstairs. 2-2 to Tulowitzki. Last 8 starts have been good. 6-0 with an ERA just over 3. Tulowitzki's only had 5 at bats against Eovaldi. We were both together internationally. He's 2 for 5. Here's the choo-choo pitch. Breaking ball down and away. It's a full count. And this is one thing we've seen with Tulowitzki since he's come to the Blue Jays. He too, like the rest of the hitters in the lineup, very patient, very selective.
Very professional at bats that we have seen from Tulo so far. He's had his share of strikeouts. You know, they've been facing some decent pitching, and I'll tell you what, the one at bat that really sticks out was that 10-pitch at bat when he pinched hit and walked in the game back at Rogers Center.
This ball is hit high in the air to left field. Gardner over into the corner. He will get there and make the catch. Tulowitzki just missed it. 1 down. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense behind Eovaldi. We've got good speed in the outfield, especially in left and center. Brett Gardner and Jacoby Ellsbury can really cover a lot of ground. It's the veteran Carlos Beltran, 3-time Gold Glover in right. Chase Headley and Didi Gregorius on the left side. Stephen Drew and Mark Teixeira. Teixeira's got 5 Gold Gloves to his credit. Brian McCann behind the plate for Eovaldi.
Welcome back to Brian McCann. He missed the last 2 games with a twisted knee. Did that on Tuesday night, blocking a pitch by Dylan Betances against the Boston Red Sox. And this last couple of days, they wanted to get ready for tonight's ball game.
His 2nd season with the Yankees after spending his career with the Braves. This is Josh Donaldson. We mentioned Donaldson leading the majors with 81 ribbies, and he's also leading in 79 runs scored. 29 home runs, that ties his career high set last year with Oakland. Donaldson is 0 for 4 against Eovaldi. As we mentioned, there are only 5 Blue Jays in the lineup that have at-bats against Eovaldi. One and two, trying to come upstairs, too high for Donaldson.
Yankees are one of those teams that really use that high fastball a lot. We have seen them do that against the Blue Jays, just trying to stand them up in that batter's box. If you're looking for everything down, just change your eye plane a little bit.
That was a high breaking ball that Donaldson fouled back.
You know, when you throw,
studying Eovaldi early.
Yeah, when you throw that hard and you see that high fastball, he's got good complementary pictures. The splitter and his breaking ball, which is a curveball. Those are pitches that are supposed to be down in the strike zone. Anything up, chances are after that it's going to be something off speed.
Donaldson fouls it off the dugout fence. 2-2. Lots of Blue Jay fans wherever the team plays, and that's the case here tonight in the Bronx. Going to be a great weekend series, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon games. Donaldson hits it in the air to right. Beltran back. This ball is gone. Opposite field home run for Donaldson, home run number 30. And the Blue Jays continue to knock the ball out of the ballpark. Donaldson just reached out and poked that thing into the seats.
You know, we talk about all the time that the Rogers Center is a great hitter's ballpark. Yankee Stadium is right there with it. With that short right field wall, get the ball up in the air and good things are going to happen to you if you're Josh Donaldson. That's his 30th home run. That sets a new career high. It's the Blue Jays off with a run in the first.
Donaldson has really taken off since Tulowitzki has joined the lineup, and that's a tough pitch down and away, but you're right, this is a very short porch in right. Jose Bautista. So that's a new career high. 30 home runs for Donaldson. No stride whatsoever. Just uses his hands.
And 8 of them now. 8 home runs to right field. So he doesn't have to pull the ball and knock it out of the ballpark.
Bautista won't chase. 1-2 to the Blue Jays right fielder. Blue Jays lead it 1-0, and they have struck early once again. Blue Jays. Josh Donaldson scored a run in the first inning in last night's game. They have now scored 66 first inning runs this season. The appeal down to first base, and Craig Gibson said no swing from Bautista.
You know, you mentioned the runs in the first inning for the Blue Jays. I think it's important that they get off to a good start because the Yankees are the best team in the first inning in all of baseball.
Bautista takes one in the dirt. It's a full count.
Especially when you're going on the road for an important series. Why not?
Bautista had a good homestand. He had 3 homers and 10 RBIs during the 10-game homestand. He takes another ball. Down and away. Bautista works Eovaldi for a 1-out walk. Well, these two ball clubs, they got a lot of power in their lineups, and both home ballparks are good hitters' ballparks, but Yankee Stadium is among the best.
Talk about Rogers Stadium, Rogers Center all the time. Camden Yards, #1 in home runs per game, and then Yankee Stadium right behind him, and then Rogers Center in Coors Field. You're also talking about two teams that are built similarly. They've got a lot of home run hitters since the All-Star break. Blue Jays have now hit 33 home runs, and the Yankees right behind him with 30.
And when Encarnacion's really been swinging the bat well lately. Edwin has a 9-game hit streak. 2 homers and 8 RBIs over those 9 games. 21 for the season. The Blue Jays are the only team in the majors with 3 hitters with 20 or more home runs. And Pat, you talked about how similar these 2 teams are. Both teams feature RBI guys, 3 on each team that have driven in 60 or more.
And then all the home runs also. Blue Jays in the middle of their lineup. Tough to get through that lineup without giving something up. You know, Buck, I was just watching the last swing from Encarnacion, and we all know that he takes a big hack. Watch this. Looked like something might have done something for him after that. It took a long time to get back into the batter's box.
He missed some time last week with a finger issue, and you could see it looked like he felt something on his left finger, but it doesn't hurt the swing. There's a ball hit the left field. Bautista is headed for third. Encarnacion will end up at second. And just like that, with 1 at bat, he extends his hit streak to 10 straight.
Missed a couple of games last week with that finger injury like you were talking about. Looked like the bat maybe rolled over that finger once again. Ignited that, but hanging breaking ball, and he's got the great plate coverage. He's able to pull that outside breaking ball down the left field line for extra bases.
So second and third, still just 1 out. Blue Jays have scored a run already. Justin Smoke batting 5th tonight. Smoke had an RBI double in the 5th inning in last night's game. Boy, a great opportunity for the Blue Jays to jump out to an early lead.
And this is where you got to pick the run up. You can't have a strikeout or a pop up right here. You got to cut down that swing just a little bit, make contact, keep it in the middle of the diamond, and you get yourself a free RBI. Infield is back for the Yankees.
Smoke has done a terrific job delivering in clutch situations this year with runners in scoring position, a .385 average. He's got 31 ribbies in limited at bats. Smoke has hit well in this ballpark, a .311 career average over 14 games. Fly ball to left. Bautista is tagging at third. Gardner's got a good arm. He's not that deep, and Bautista stays put. Gardner came up and threw a strike to the cutoff man, Chase Headley. He's always been a very good thrower, and that ball just wasn't deep enough to take a chance.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting behind that ball and getting his momentum on plane going towards home plate. He's had 4 outfield assists this year. Base runners just aren't running on him anymore.
Ellsbury back in center. Gardner played 27 games in center field while Ellsbury was out. Russell Martin, of course, he played 2 seasons here with the Yankees as their everyday catcher. Russell had a good run against New York early in the season, 8 for 20 with a pair of home runs and 6 RBIs. Ball on a strike to Russell Martin. Eovaldi has given up a run here in the first. The 17th first inning run he's given up this season.
Got that slider and that splitter that are touch and feel types of pitches for him. And right now, Blue Jays are working him over.
Boy, they have done this consistently all season long. He has thrown 30 pitches. He will throw 30 on this next pitch. Donaldson with the opposite field home run. And Bautista walked. Encarnacion doubled. Both flied out to left, and Russell Martin with a 2-1 count. Breaking ball for a strike. It's even at 2-2.
Russell's always been better when he has gone right back through the middle or to right field. That's where he's gotten a lot of his hits and a lot of his RBIs. And when a guy throws this hard, I think that would be a good game plan. You see the middle of the diamond, there's a big hole. You can get that ground ball past the pitcher.
Fights it off inside. Russell scuffling a bit at plate recently, 0 for his last 15. A base hit right here will do wonders.
How about a blooper? Something that makes it to the outfield. It's going to be 2 RBIs.
Eovaldi has thrown 31 pitches in the first. Downstairs, full count. Blue Jays have won 5 in a row, trying to build upon that. Bouncing ball out in front of home. Eovaldi grabs it barehanded, throws to first to end the inning. Eovaldi threw 32 pitches, and the 3-2 pitch to Donaldson down and away. He takes it to right. A new career high for Josh Donaldson. This home run in New York, his 30th of the season, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Lineup for the New York Yankees. Top of the order is Jacoby Ellsbury. He missed 43 games this season with a hamstring injury. He's got good numbers against TOR AT NYA, 350 average with a couple of home runs. And the big thing about Dickey is that he has really baffled this Yankee lineup in the past. Mark Teixeira has been hot, but the knuckleballer 2 games ago, Stephen Wright for Boston, really shut down this potent offense. It'll be interesting to see if there's a hangover tonight as they take on R.A. Dickey.
Well, if he pitches like he did in his last start, they should have trouble because R.A. was nearly flawless in his last start. That was against Kansas City, 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, and 6 strikeouts to win his 6th game of the season. He dropped his ERA to 4.06 in that start against the Kansas City Royals, and he has won 4 straight decisions versus the Yankees over his last 6 starts versus
This
New York.
is his 13th career start against the Yankees, and he has a opponent's batting average of .211. This is Jacoby Ellsbury, and Dickey, boy, he's been throwing a lot of strikes with that knuckleball lately. Ellsbury, .280 for the season, 5 homers and 23 RBIs. They mentioned he missed 43 games with that injury. He was on the DL. The top 2 hitters in this lineup, they make this Yankee offense go. Ellsbury and Gardner right behind them.
You know what they do? They see a lot of pitches. They foul off a lot of tough pitches. They're feisty up there. They're both hitting over .280, and they can run. So the 2 of them, I think the key to the Yankees is keep these 2 guys off of the bases if you want to beat them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And when you look at Ellsbury and Gardner, they are both hitting .317 for their careers against the Blue Jays. And both enjoying a lot of success. They have combined to play 195 games against the Jays. So it's not just a fluky run. R.A. Dickey with a 3-2 count. Ball is fouled into the seats over the screen. Dickey is just 1-7 in 10 road starts this season. He has had a tough time on the road, but boy, we mentioned his last several starts. He has really been in a groove. There's strike 3. Dickey gets the first strikeout of the night. Defensively, the Blue Jays are well equipped to play in this big ballpark here in New York. They've got speed in left field now. Ben Revere can cover a lot of ground. He teams up very well with Kevin Pillar. Bautista, of course, the veteran in right. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Smoke. That's the best infield the Blue Jays have. And behind the plate, Russell Martin handling the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey.
John Gibbons was talking before the ball game. He said that defense is important in this ballpark. And he said Smoke is a difference maker with his gloves, so you're going to see him at first base in this series.
That's an interesting way to look at it, because if you do make errors and allow the Yankees those extra outs in an inning, chances are they're going to hit one into the seats.
And Gibby knows that too. He knows how important defense here in this ballpark is.
Well, and it doesn't hurt too that you've added a very potent bat at shortstop now, so you can sacrifice some offense over at first.
That's a good point. And they've got some speed now in the outfield to cover that big ground in left center. I mean, there is a lot of room here at Yankee Stadium in left center field. It's 399 to the power alleys in left field. And now with Ben Revere and his speed and Pillar in center field, they should be okay covering up that gap.
Gardner pops it into the seats as he fouls off that 1-2 pitch. The Yankees have a 4.5 game lead over the Blue Jays. Blue Jays are 6 games over the 500. Dickey wanted that pitch. He just missed the inside corner. Joe Girardi's in his 8th season at the helm of the New York Yankees. Of course, he played for the Yankees, was part of that big World Series run they had in the 90s.
Just knew that he was going to be a manager someday, didn't you? The way he played the game.
You could tell by his haircut. Joe keeps himself in phenomenal shape, and he still really dedicates himself to working out every day and making sure he's prepared for his job, and he does it very well. This is popped up left side of the infield. Tulowitzki coming over. Donaldson, the third baseman, will make the catch. 2 up, 2 down. Alex Rodriguez, boy, what a season he has had after missing most of 2 seasons. He has put up big numbers, 24 home runs and 63 RBIs.
We saw him in 2013 before this season, the last time that he played, and at his age and what we saw then, and then he was going to miss all of 2014. There's no way he's going to come back and have a good year. You know what? He would get my vote right now for comeback player of the year.
Oh, no question.
Easily.
Comeback player for the last 2 years. He was out for basically 2 seasons. He had hip surgery and then, of course, the suspension for PED. And he has bounced back dramatically. Turned 40 on the 27th of July. And on that day, his birthday, he hit a home run. And that put him in a unique category.
One only 4 players did a home run as a teenager and as a 40-year-old.
Ground ball. Tulowitzki scoops it up. Good start for R.A. Dickey. 3 up, 3 down. He retires the Yanks in order. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
As a member of the Blue Jays, and prior to today's game, he held court with the media and touched on a number of subjects, but a couple of things that really stood out. Number one, being a guy that has pitched in meaningful games this late in the season before, he said that his advice to the many teammates he has here with the Blue Jays who have never played in these meaningful games is, number one, just enjoy yourself. Understand the importance, but just go out and have a good time and don't play too tight. Another thing he talked about was when he was asked if he feels like he's a hired gun with the Toronto Blue Jays. He said it's exactly the opposite. He feels just like another piece of this puzzle. He says that from day one, the rest of the team welcomed him with open arms, but they didn't treat him any differently than anyone else, and he really respects that. And all these things, guys, definitely help the Blue Jays' cause when it comes time to talking about potentially bringing him back next season.
They sure do, Barry, as Goins drives it deep to center. Ellsbury got back to the edge of the warning track to haul it in. Ryan Goins deep to center. First out of the second.
Good swing right there by Goins. I thought David Price has the perfect attitude for the Blue Jays as they head into this series and the rest of the baseball season. He says, go out there and have fun. He says there's enough outside pressure that's being applied to the team, and if you have fun, don't add any more pressure to the situation. These games are going to start getting a lot of fun, and there's going to be pressure-packed situations, but go out there and enjoy it, have fun. Don't add to the pressure.
Now, you don't need to create any unnecessary pressure, that's for sure. There's a lot of joy to be had. This is a one hopper to Headley as Pilar's retired. Eovaldi had a rough first inning, but he got out of it with minimal damage.
Well, he's got one of the best arms in all of baseball. That fastball, you can see he's averaging 96.3 with that fastball. Only Noah Syndergaard throws harder, more consistently than Eovaldi. He's got a slider, a curveball in the splitter. He's changed his grip just a little bit on that splitter. He is now getting some good movement on it. He can control it a little bit better. It's not slipping out of his hands like it was earlier in the season. He's just narrowed the grip on that baseball.
This is Ben Revere, the left fielder in the ninth spot. Revere had a great game yesterday. He had 3 leadoff singles batting in the ninth spot. Came around to score each time he reached base. He finished up 3 for 4 in the game. He had a beautiful bunt single in the 5th, and that really started that big 4-run inning in the 5th.
It's all about on-base percentage. Put the bat on the baseball, take your chances. He's not going to give you a lot of extra base hits, but since June the 1st, he's had the 4th highest batting average in baseball. And that's exactly what the Blue Jays needed at the bottom of their lineup. Somebody like this who can make contact, get on base, and run.
This is bounced towards second. Stephen Drew throws on the run in time. Eovaldi with a bounce back inning. He retires the bottom third of the Blue Jays order. starting to come together for R.A. Dickey. His ERA is good. His opponent's batting average is outstanding at 169, and he is pitching deep into the ball games and keeping base runners off base.
Pitching like an ace. 6 starts ago, he was matched up on July the 4th versus his new teammate David Price, and that might have been the lowest that we have seen. R.A. Dickey was 5 2/3. He had 11 hits in that game, 5 earned runs. The first inning was a nightmare. Hit a couple of batters, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, and lost that ball game. But since that game, he has been on a nice roll. And I think a lot of it, Buck, has to do with his knuckleball, keeping it in the strike zone and throwing it just a little bit harder.
Mark Teixeira hits it high and deep to left. Ben Revere is at the wall. Teixeira. It stays in the ballpark as that ball came down. Teixeira ends up at second. Mike Winters, the third base umpire, went out to have a look at it. Joe Girardi's at the top step, and he's going to ask the umpires for time. They're going to take a look at this in the Yankee clubhouse. Ben Revere got to the wall. Looked like a fan reached over, and that Ben Revere had a chance to make a catch. Now, I think both managers are going to look at this video. Mike Winters is the crew chief, and they're going to have a look at it now as Marty Foster has come over from second, and they'll go under the hood right away.
Yeah, the ball was hit high enough that Revere could get back, and he's claiming that he had a shot at catching that baseball. If the fan reaches over into the playing field and he feels like he could catch that ball.
It hit Revere's glove, and it may have been deflected by a fan. Watch the fan on the left of Revere reach for it, puts his hands out there, went right through his hands, and hits Revere in the pocket of his glove. But I think John Givens has to come out and make sure that Revere has the opportunity to review that from the Blue Jays' perspective.
That he could have caught that ball.
Yes.
He feels like he should have caught that ball.
Well, I think somebody has to communicate that, because they're looking at this whether or not it's a home run. Because Joe Girardi asked Mike Winters to have a look at it. Winters made the call. But the Blue Jays could argue the fact that the fan interfered with Revere's opportunity to catch it.
Reached out over in the play and field of play and stopped Ben Revere from climbing the wall and making the catch.
The fans have the right to catch a ball if it's off the playing surface, but that fan appeared to be over the playing field. Revere was there. He had plenty of height to make the catch. The ball hit his glove. This is going to be interesting to see how these umpires rule on this, and they're talking about it right now. Remember, it's an umpiring crew here in New York that's looking at the review. And they have to consider everything there. The ball, of course, was close to being a home run. It stayed in the ballpark. And the ruling by Mike Winters, who made the call, was that it's a double. Ball's in play. Joe Girardi said, let's have a look at it and see if it's a home run.
You know, looking at it a couple of times, it hit the fan, obviously. Obviously hit the fan. I think if the fan lets the ball go, that ball might have landed over the wall for a home run. I think it ricocheted and hit. I don't know, looking at it a couple of times here, Buck, if that ball would have stayed in the field of play here. Watch him go back up again. And where the trajectory of that ball's coming down, it looked like it hit and came straight down.
Off of the fan's hand.
And then hit Ben Revere in the glove.
Revere, we have seen him get up on the wall. He did it at Rogers Center in the last homestand. He can elevate, that's for sure. And he put his right hand on the top of the wall and pulled himself a little higher, and it actually hit his glove. And this is taking a long time, which suggests that the umpires that are reviewing the play are really having a tough time.
In Ben Revere's mind, he felt like he could have caught this ball, but it's so far over his glove where the fan is and then it comes straight down off of his glove, and he feels like he was interfered with. So I think both teams have an argument here.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and that's why as we go through this review process, there are going to be tweaks to all of the rules, and I think eventually they call it a home run. Isn't that interesting? Now John Gibbons is going to come out and argue with Mike Winters, and he's going, well, now wait a minute. My guy had a chance to catch it, and the ball came down. Teixeira's credited with a home run. That's his 30th home run, and that will tie the game.
He'll be asking for some explanation there. After watching it 3 or 4 times, I thought that the ball was going to leave the ballpark, and when the fan hit it, that ball came straight down, and that's when it hit in Revere's glove. Just the way that the ball was coming down, and you could see it hit and then came straight down off his glove.
It looked like it was going to be out of the ballpark. It just happened to hit Revere's glove after the fan deflected it. So it's a 1-1 game. We've had 2 30th home runs here tonight. Donaldson hit his 30th in the first. Teixeira has hit his 30th here in the second. This is Brian McCann. He's got 18 home runs. McCann in his second season with the Yankees. He's one of the best offensive catchers we've seen in the last several decades.
I think he is tailor-made as a hitter for this ballpark right here. He gets on top of that plate. You can see not a lot of room on the inner half, and he really tries to yank the ball.
This is popped up. Donaldson was playing in the shift. He gets over into foul ground and makes the catch on McCann.
You know, one other thing, you know, that kind of got lost in all that home run. Mark Teixeira was hitting right-handed against R.A. Dickey.
We have seen that in the past from Teixeira. We just recently saw Ben Zobrist do the same thing, and it's just a matter of feel. Teixeira has hit both ways against Dickey in the past.
In this ballpark, though?
Yeah, you'd think he would want to take a shot at that
exactly
short porch.
Beltran's a switch hitter. He's going to go up there left-handed.
So Teixeira now has 30 home runs and 77 ribbies. Beltran pulls it. That's a fair ball. Smoke will wave off Dickey and go to the bag, 2 down.
You know, whatever it is, Mark Teixeira is doing all the right things this year. He's having a heck of a season.
Well, he sure is. That's his 6th home run in his last 8 games. And that's the one guy the Blue Jays are very aware of because of his hot bat coming into this game, batting .370 over his last 7. Chase Headley, the third baseman. He too's a switch hitter, and he, like Beltran, batting lefty against Dickey. We have seen Headley bat right-handed against Dickey in the past. He did that earlier in the season when Dickey pitched against the Yankees right here.
I just thought that they would take a cue from their hot player, Mark Teixeira.
There's a little looper into center. That's going to drop in front of Kevin Pillar. Well, the Blue Jays had a great homestand, and the Yankees have played very well here at Yankee Stadium all season long. The Yankees are 32-18 at home, and over the last 11 games, they've put up some ugly numbers if you're a visiting ball player.
And they're doing everything. They're hitting, they're pitching, they're winning ball games. They're using their bullpen. Joe Girardi's a master at using that very deep bullpen. But this is a team that can score runs as easily as the Blue Jays can.
This is Didi Gregorius. He pops it up. Tulowitzki is not going to get it. Pillar's not going to get it as well. It falls in front. Chase Headley forgot how many outs there were, and that cost him 90 feet.
And it almost cost him an out right there. For some reason, he was waiting. There's 2 outs, so you're running on anything. You might want to check that scoreboard to see how many outs there are. That ball blooped into center field. It's going to fall in front of Pillar, and he heads up, tries to get it back quickly because Headley made a mistake.
How many times do we see this in the course of a major league game? Veteran players making bad base running judgments, not knowing how many outs there are. We've seen players come off the field with 2 outs.
Yeah, this season too many times.
Yeah. So this is Stephen Drew, the veteran second baseman. Drew's still hitting under 200 for the season, but he's got 13 home runs. I think there were a lot of people that Russell Martin's got Headley hung up, and now Tulowitzki looked like he got the ball stuck in his webbing, and Smoke is going to go to third, and Headley is safe. It looked like Tulowitzki got the ball stuck in the webbing of his glove when he was ready to throw to third. And that allowed Headley to go to third. And then they got Gregorius in between first and second, but they can't pick up an out.
Yeah, no question that they had Headley, the runner at second base. He was going to be out. But when the throw came from Russell Martin to Tulowitzki, it looks like it got stuck in that webbing. And by the time he was able to dig it out one more time, he's going to go. Now he's caught in no man's land. Martin throws behind him. Here's what should have happened. He should have held on to the baseball. Tulowitzki should have held on to the baseball and run Gregorius back to first base. You're taught as a runner, anytime that first baseman has the ball in a first and third situation like that, you start getting that first baseman running towards second base. That's when that runner at third can break for home.
Two and 0 to Stephen Drew. There's a strike. Boy, mistakes early on in this ball game, and the Yankees have dodged a couple of bullets here, making bad base running mistakes. Hopefully, Dickey will be able to pitch around it and leave these two on. 2-1, 2 outs. Pop back over the screen and out of play. Well, if this is any indication of what these three games are going to be like, you better strap yourself in. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Buckle up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Ben Revere trying to pull back a home run by Mark Teixeira. Ball went out of the park. Teixeira credited with a home run. Indeed, it was a home run. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Check swing foul into the seats. The Blue Jays have won 4 of the 6 games these two teams have played this season. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 here to open up the season way back in April. Drew Hutchison beat Masahiro Tanaka in the season opener 6-1. The Blue Jays could have swept that series. They were up 3-1 in game 2 into the bottom of the 8th, but they ended up losing 4-3. And it was a very ugly inning. Bases loaded walk, a hit batter with the bases loaded, and the Yankees scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th, and then they bounced back to win the series 6-3 behind Daniel Norris. 3-2. Popped into shallow left field. Ben Revere coming in a few steps. Makes the play. A lot going on here in the second. Mark Teixeira ties it up, leading off the second, hitting right-handed against the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. This is his 30th home run of the season. has been perfect whenever he starts. 8-0 going into this game. Without Tulowitzki, the Blue Jays are 2 games under 500, and they've scored a full run more with him in the lineup. This is a great bat to add to this potent lineup.
Well, he's a baseball player. He adds a lot of baseball IQ to this team. He plays a very important position at shortstop, and I think he's covered up some of the defensive problems that the Blue Jays had earlier this season. And then you add the bat on top of it at the #1 spot. Just an upgrade all around, I think, for the Blue Jays.
For the season with Colorado and Toronto, he's batting .299. He has hit 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and driven in 5 since he's joined the Jays. And he looks very comfortable in the leadoff spot, no question about it. He only appeared in 1 other game as a leadoff hitter prior to coming to Toronto. He gets jammed, hits a soft liner to third. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. The Boston Red Sox played the Yankees tough here. Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer, beat him 2-1, and then the Yankees bounced back and scored 2. They won 2-1 in last night's game. Josh Donaldson, 30 home runs in 109 games this season. That's a new career high in home runs. He had 29 last year for Oakland in 158 games.
He's in one of those streaks right now, isn't he? I think that's 5 home runs in 7 games now for Donaldson. You pitch him away, he's got power. He can knock it into the seats in right field. You pitch him in, he'll turn on it. It's just in one of those grooves.
Josh had a great homestand over the span of those 10 games at Rogers Center. He hit 5 doubles, 5 homers, drove in 13, and batted .359 for the 10 games. Big wild swing as Donaldson went after that breaking ball.
Eovaldi's got a good slider, good breaking ball. Right now, the Blue Jays are working him over, making him throw a lot of pitches.
Upstairs, first game of a series, Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens, the hitting coaches, have always reminded their hitters, let's get into their bullpen early in game 1 of the series. You never know how that's going to impact the rest of the series. Interesting shot there. The hitting coach talking with the pitching coach. They might be keeping an eye on Eovaldi to see if he might be tipping off a pitch or something, just to see if they can pick something up from the young right-hander. He's got great stuff.
Great stuff. Tough on the righties with his arsenal. And the Blue Jays have a lot of right-handed batters.
It can be something as subtle as you can see more of his pitching hand out of his glove on a fastball, less of it on a breaking ball. Blue Jays are very good at picking up any kind of information from a pitcher. Donaldson works Eovaldi for the walk. That's the second walk issued by Eovaldi. Well, everything has clicked for John Gibbons' ball club over the last 9 games. An 8-1 record, hitting nearly .300 as a team, scoring a ton of runs, and the pitching has really matched the hitting.
Yeah, the opponent's batting average under 200. The team average right at 300. They've hit 16 home runs, averaging almost 6.5 runs per game. And he did that against those teams at home: Philadelphia, Kansas City, and the Minnesota Twins. Now you got the Yankees, and the Yankees have some good starting pitching. They've got a great bullpen.
Both of these teams coming out of the All-Star break 13-6 since the All-Star break, and the Blue Jays pitching really out pitching the Yankees over that stretch of 19 games. Bautista takes it downstairs. It's a ball and a strike. These two teams are so evenly matched. The Yankees have scored 119 runs since the All-Star break. The Blue Jays 101. Blue Jays have out-homered them 32-30 coming into this game.
We go up and down the stats.
Bouncing ball to short. Gregorius quickly to second for one. Back to first. Double play. Bautista bounces into the inning-ending double play. Didi Gregorius started it.
By the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful shot of Yankee Stadium 3 as the Blue Jays and Yankees open up this weekend's series. It's 1-1 ball game. Both teams with the home run, and they have both been home runs number 30 for Josh Donaldson and Mark Teixeira. R.A. Dickey will deal with the top of the order. Jacoby Ellsbury struck out his first time up.
I got that little reference there, by the way, Yankee Stadium 3. That was pretty good.
Hard to imagine that Yankee Stadium was the second edition. They renovated the second Yankee Stadium and reopened it in 1976. They brought some of the architectural aspects of those first two stadiums into this new ballpark. That's a foul ball. It just bounced foul over the bag at third. The Yankees played at Shea Stadium in 1974, 1975 as they were remodeling the original stadium. This is a beautiful ballpark. It's very accommodating for the broadcasters, for the players, and the fans. I just wish they would have made it a little bit bigger on the field. Ellsbury caught looking at strike three. Ellsbury has struck out twice against Dickey tonight.
Both of them caught looking. First time up, we got a good knuckleball 3-2. Now this time you can see the movement. Ellsbury thinks it's low, but a good job by Russell Martin to hold it right there and frame it up. Second strikeout of the night for R.A.
I talked to Russell Martin about the knuckleball over this hot stretch for R.A. Dickey. He said he's really throwing it in the strike zone a lot. And that makes it so much more challenging for the hitters, of course. You always have to be thinking of a strike. And then when you're thinking about a strike, you're going to chase some borderline knuckleballs from time to time.
Velocity is important to him also. Already was talking about that in between starts, that the velocity of his knuckleball, that it can stay on plane, helps him to keep it in the strike zone.
Yeah, just think about it. If you're trying to lob that knuckleball in there, it's going to be a higher percentage of balls outside of the zone.
He will, R.A. will take something off of some of the knuckleballs. He'll change speeds at times with the knuckleball. We've seen some 60s and some 70s and then some high 70s, but that's by design. For the most part, he is better when that ball is in the upper 70s, that knuckleball.
Three and one to Brett Gardner. He popped out to the third baseman his first time up. There's a strike. It's a full count. Alex Rodriguez is on deck. He got grounded out to the shortstop to end the first. There's a fastball, strike three called to Brett Gardner. R.A. Dickey's been using that fastball very effectively.
Just when you think he's going to throw you another knuckleball, look at that. He's going to four-seam it and sneak it by you for another strikeout. I think Gardner knew it. He was surprised that R.A. threw him a fastball.
3 strikeouts now for Dickey. This is Rodriguez. He goes after the first pitch. That's going to reach the seats outside of first. Beautiful evening here in the Bronx. New York Yankees and the Blue Jays, first of 3, and these two will hook up next Friday at Rogers Center. They'll come right up to Toronto and play a Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday series. The Yankees will go to Cleveland after this and play Cleveland in a 3-game series.
Blue Jays will go home and play Oakland.
Starts Tuesday night after the Blue Jays have an off day on Monday.
Talked to some of the players today about the importance of this series, and a lot of them, they wanted to downplay. They said, we're very confident. We think we're on a nice little roll right now, but it's only August. There is a long, long way to go yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Long way to go. Blue Jays have 52 games remaining. Played 110 games. A lot can happen over the next 7.5 weeks. Rodriguez pops it up over near the Yankees dugout. Smoke will get over there, and it's out of play. Russell Martin, the catcher, right up against the rail.
David Price was talking about a little bit today before the ball game about the importance of this series and playing the Yankees on their home turf and trying to win the series. You know, that's just another momentum builder. What you hate to do is get super high, win the series, and then drop back down because there's so many games left.
I think it'll be very difficult for the Blue Jays to lose momentum when they play at home. I think everybody is bought into this team now, and they're going to see a lot of energy at Rogers Center. As Rodriguez takes ball 4 right at the bottom of the strike zone and missed. First walk issued by Dickey. And now he's got to deal with Mark Teixeira, who homered to start the second. That home run by Teixeira snapped a streak of 4 straight games for Dickey without allowing a home run. First time he's done that since his Cy Young season in 2012 with the Mets.
That's how well he has been thrown. Also that home run. The Yankees now have hit a home run in 13 straight games.
Ben Revere got a glove on it, but it was after the fact. A fan had reached over and deflected it back onto the playing field. Teixeira has reached base in 24 straight games. He's hot. Mark Teixeira singles through the left side of the infield. He's 2 for 2. A 2-on walk and now a base hit by Teixeira. And now you have to deal with the dangerous Brian McCann with 2 on and 2 outs.
Teixeira's finally healthy. He's had a wrist problem. I think it's going on 2 years now. They just didn't have that pop and that strength in his hand to drive the baseball. Well, he's doing it again. 30 home runs now for Teixeira, 77 RBIs, and he hit that ball with authority.
This is Brian McCann. McCann spent 9 years in Atlanta with the Braves before signing as a free agent here with New York. McCann has been an all-star 7 times. He's been the Silver Slugger catcher 5 different times in his career. We mentioned McCann is a unique catcher in his ability to hit home runs. He's one of 5 major leaguers with at least 15 home runs in each of the last 10 seasons. Pretty big list of high star factor players. Pujols, David Ortiz, Miguel Cabrera, and Adrian Gonzalez.
Those are some of the best sluggers in all of baseball.
McCann is right there with him. Umpire calls it a strike. That's Mike Malinsky behind the plate. I was visiting with the umpires today, asking them about how many plate jobs they have in the course of a season. They said, we're just like a starting pitcher, but we go on 4 days rest. About 35 to 38 starts behind the plate. Then I asked him about how often do you see a knuckleballer? Well, there are only 2 in the American League now. So you could go years without calling a knuckleball pitcher. Mike Winters said, I can't remember the last time I umped a knuckleballer's game.
We talk about the hitters trying to hit it and catchers trying to catch it. How about the umpires trying to call it?
There's a timing factor involved as well for the umpires. You know, they'll get into their crouch, and then as the pitcher winds up, they'll bend over and really focus on that strike zone. Well, with a knuckleballer, you have a little more time, but you never know when it's going to dodge and dart in and out of the strike zone. This is the second knuckleballer the Yankees have faced in 3 days. Stephen Wright, we mentioned 2 games ago, beat them 2-1.
Yeah, pitched a gem. I wonder if we got the Yankees warmed up against R.A. Dickey tonight.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Smoke. That'll end the inning. Steps on the bag. The Yankees strand 2 more. We'll head to the 4th. It's a 1-1 game.
Tottenham. The game goes Saturday, and you can watch it on Sportsnet 7:30 a.m. Eastern, 4:30 a.m. Pacific. Buck, I guarantee you there will be a few Blue Jays here at the ballpark at 7:30 tomorrow morning watching part of that game.
Yeah, you can bet on it. And we saw the Blue Jay players out here about 2:30 this afternoon kicking the soccer ball around. That has become an interesting tradition for the Blue Jays players. They all have their own jerseys with their names on the back of respected teams around the world in their soccer jerseys. Johnny Navarro was the leader, and he and Russell Martin started kicking it around in spring training.
That's right. I remember seeing Russell in spring training with a soccer ball, and I'm like, what's up with that? He says, it's a way to keep me in shape just a little bit. I like to stay loose that way, get some running in and doing something.
Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin hit a double in the first inning and extended his hit streak to 10 straight. He got jammed and lines out softly to the third baseman, Chase Headley.
Looks like he might have broke his bat on that one. Aldi's got a great fastball. I think he splintered that one as the umpire in the back were picking up the pieces around home plate. Edwards going to have to find some new lumber. That bat was good to him.
That bat was very good to him. He had a home run and a double yesterday and had a 4 RBI game. Justin Smoke for Chitter flied out to left field in the first. First pitch breaking ball. Smoke is making his 43rd start at first base, and it sounds like he's going to make a few more regular starts over at first. Another breaking ball strike from Eovaldi.
Well, his bat plays, I think, in this ballpark. They'll be facing right-handed pitchers, right-handed starters in this series, and with his left-handed stroke, you want to fill up your lineup with as many lefties as possible when you're playing in Yankee Stadium because of that short porch in right field.
It might have been a splitter. Eovaldi will run to first and retire Smoke. Eovaldi's got a great arm, and when you talk about big arms around baseball, Eovaldi's on that list.
Well, only Noah Syndergaard of the Mets throws harder than Eovaldi. You got the Ventura kid, Giordano Ventura from Kansas City, and Matt Harvey, another Met pitcher on that list. Right behind him, Luis Severino, who we saw here with the Yankees. He's at 95.7. The league average fastball, the velocity this season is 91.5. And Eovaldi's got that big arm. Hasn't had a strikeout yet.
There is Severino, who made his major league debut here and threw the ball well. Everybody was impressed. Boston beat him in that game, but he threw very well. He was the one that everybody was asking for at the trade deadline. All of the trade partners for New York wanted Severino.
And Brian Cashman said, no chance. I know my farm system. I'm going to need them. Need those young kids, and he held on to them.
Russell Martin grounded out to first. His first time up. It's a 1-1 game. Blue Jays have 2 hits. The Yankees have 4. Nathan Eovaldi gave up a first inning home run to Josh Donaldson. That's going to get down for a base hit for Russell Martin. He stayed on that breaking ball and comes up with a 2-strike base hit.
I think that's where, again, he is at his best. What he was thinking about through the middle or to right field. It's a breaking ball down and away. And if you start thinking about trying to pull that ball, you're going to swing through it or hit a weak grounder to the shortstop. And that time, Russell stayed on it and hit a soft single to center.
Ryan Goins flied out deep to center field. Goins with 3 homers and 27 RBIs. Eovaldi doing a nice job of bringing that breaking ball into the mix, second time through the order. Got to give Brian McCann some credit for that. Veteran catcher mixing things up for the Blue Jay hitters.
He's always got that heater, that fastball in his tank. You start dropping that curveball in there, and then the splitter. Tough situation.
98 in there for a strike. I asked Joe Girardi what he liked about McCann behind the plate, and he said he's a very calming influence on my pitching staff. He's a very understated guy, and he doesn't speak often, but when he does, the pitchers listen. One and two now. Russell Martin will pick your pocket when you don't expect it. Wouldn't be a bad time to gamble here with 2 outs, see if he can't sneak one. But now Eovaldi has checked in on him at first. Ryan Goins is 1 for 12 here at Yankee Stadium for his young career. Hit it hard to Gregorius. He'll go to the bag and beat Russell Martin to end the inning. Goins retired on the fielder's choice. R.A. Dickey will face Carlos Beltran, Chase Headley, and Didi Gregorius.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful shot of the Hudson River, the George Washington Bridge, not far from Yankee Stadium, just up the river about a mile. The Blue Jay fans here at Yankee Stadium tonight. A great weekend trip for Blue Jay fans. Come on down to New York Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon.
Hopefully the Blue Jays can give them something to cheer about.
Oh, I think they will. I think it's going to be a great series. R.A. Dickey has allowed 1 run on 4 hits. Carlos Beltran and Dickey were teammates with the New York Mets. Dickey spent 3 years with the Mets. Beltran was a terrific player with the New York Mets and had some postseason experience with the Mets.
He was great with Kansas City. Goes to Houston. Single-handedly got them into the playoffs. Had a great run, and that parlayed into a big contract with the Mets.
He was one of those trade deadline deals. Went from Kansas City to Houston, and you're right, he parlayed it into a huge contract. He was American League Rookie of the Year in '99 for Kansas City. 3-1.
Take a little something off that knuckleball right there. That low 70s. Ariel do that now and then.
That one bounced and goes back to the wall as Beltran takes a walk. Well, we always talk about the Blue Jays offense, but boy, look at the pitching staff since the All-Star break. The Blue Jays lead the American League in ERA since that midseason break.
I bet you if you went around and asked 10 people who had the best earned run average, I bet you 9 of them would have said somebody else other than the Blue Jays. But they are ahead of the Astros, the Angels, and the Orioles. And when you pitch like that, you're going to win games, and that's exactly what the Blue Jays have been doing.
This is Chase Headley. He had a single with 2 outs in the second. He was stranded, one of 2 base runners stranded by the Yankees in the second. We always talk about how you determine what it's going to take to win a championship, and oftentimes you look at the postseason teams and their starters will lead the league in wins. Well, the Blue Jays starters are doing that right now. They lead the league in wins, and they have really surprised a lot of people. The Blue Jays starters have 45 wins, 3 more than the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees.
You know, after years of talking about that, where the Blue Jays were in the bottom third of that you've got to get the innings and you got to get the production from your starters. Well, they've done it. Mark Burley leading the way, and R.A. Dickey and Marco Estrada's put together a good year. Drew Hutchison, excuse me, Buck, it's got 10 wins.
Yep. This is an interesting turn. That's Donaldson to Tulowitzki, back to Smoke for a double play. Donaldson playing over in that shift, and he makes a 5-6-3 double play in your scorebook, and that erases the leadoff walk.
You want to keep your second baseman and your shortstop around the bag so they handle the baseball on a double play situation, but Donaldson made that one look easy. He's a good athlete.
There are all good athletes on the infield right now. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Smoke. Didi Gregorius, he had a base hit his first time up. This time he hits it to second. R.A. Dickey issues the leadoff walk, double play and a ground out. No problem in the fourth. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zaun.
Of the Blue Jays' first playoff appearance in 1985 when they won the AL East Division. A big part of that, Bell, Mosby, Barfield in the outfield, and you can have a chance to take home the bobblehead with all 3 of them. The Blue Jays host the Yankees Sunday, August the 16th at 1:07. The first 20,000 fans will receive this unbelievably cool alumni bobblehead presented by TD. Pre-game ceremony starts at 12:45, so arrive early. Gosh, it's hard to believe it's been 30 years since that first playoff appearance, Buck.
It sure is hard to believe, and it'll be great to see some of those team members from the '85 championship. First time Blue Jays won a division championship. Bell, Barfield, and Mosby, big part of that. And they'll be at Rogers Center next Sunday.
And they clinched, the Blue Jays clinched against the New York Yankees.
The New York Yankees. George Bell caught a fly ball off the bat of Ron Hassey. Yep.
You know what? It got me thinking. Was that the last time that these two teams played a meaningful game this late into the season where both of them were right there?
I'm not too sure about that. It probably happened in the early 90s, somewhere in there.
The Yankees were not very good, when the Blue Jays were rolling like that. So these two teams going at it, it might have been 30 years ago when the game meant something.
Ben Revere grounded out to second his first time up. Nathan Eovaldi has really mixed his pitches very effectively. Oftentimes you get a power pitcher like Eovaldi, they'll fall in love with that fastball. That's not been the case.
No, first time through he was establishing the fastball, I thought. Now he's starting to throw more off-speed stuff.
Eovaldi was a trade deadline player from the Dodgers to the Miami Marlins. It was an interesting deal. He went to Miami in exchange for Randy Choate, the left-hand reliever, and an infielder named Hanley Ramirez. That took place on July 25th, 2012. That's a base hit for Ben Revere. He slaps it past Gregorius into left. A one-out single. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, how about that pitching matchup? Clayton Kershaw and Garrett Cole, the two aces.
Yeah, Kershaw had that consecutive scoreless streak snapped on his first pitch of the ball game tonight. Gregory Polanco went home run on the first pitch of the game to him.
For Polanco, home run number 6. So they have gone back and forth there. The Dodgers scored 2 in the third, and now Pittsburgh has tied it up on that walk by Kershaw. This is Troy Tulowitzki. He bounces it to third. That's a foul ball. Boy, Ben Revere, he never hesitated. He had the hard slide at second just in case it was a fair ball. We haven't seen Revere try to steal just yet. And it's going to be an interesting situation when they do give him the green light because of all the hitters that are behind him.
I asked John Gibbons about that. Here's that play. He might have been safe at second base if that was a fair ball, but I asked Gibby about it the other day about, hey, Ben Revere can run. He says, you know what, I don't want him running and getting thrown out with the guys hitting behind him, but there will come a time and a place where his speed is going to be very important for us. I said, does he have the green light? He says yes. He has the green light to steal.
One ball game. The hits are even now at 4 apiece. Way inside the Tulowitzki. Josh Donaldson provided the Blue Jays with their only run of the game. He had a one-out home run in the first, his 30th of the season. There's that hard splitter. A lot of late movement on that pitch from Eovaldi, and that's the perfect combination. He throws in the upper 90s and then throws a hard split finger pitch
with a lot of variations in the miles per hour. Got to gear yourself up, starting a little bit early to get that fastball. And he drops that thing on you. It's been tough.
Came right back with it and strikes out Tulowitzki. That's the first strikeout for Eovaldi.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Two
down, top of the 5th. Josh Donaldson has homered and walked. What a season. 297, 30, and 82. He's got 51 ball games left.
And he's going to have a lot of opportunities, I think, to drive in a lot of big runs.
Yeah, you made the point earlier about the significance of this weekend, and there's so much baseball left. Yeah, you don't want to be swept here by any means, but I don't think the outcome of the season is going to evolve around what happens here in these 3 games.
It's not going to make or break, I think, either team unless there is a sweep. And that one of those teams going to, if it happens, going to have a lot of confidence heading into that series next weekend.
Well, what a nice play by McCann. First of all, he got the ball on one hop, and then catchers recognizing that base runners will often take that extra step towards second with the ball in the dirt. He throws quickly to first.
It didn't look like he got a lot on it because he came out through that one flat-footed with all the equipment on it. He bounces it over there and it's picked off by Teixeira, but another heads-up play, of course, by the shortstop, or excuse me, by the catcher.
1-1 to Donaldson. You see Teixeira, too, the 5-time Gold Glover down at first. He called for the ball. He showed McCann his glove, says, yeah, come on, give me a shot here. Let's see what we can do. With 2 outs, you never know. You got a home run hitter at the plate. If you can get out of the inning without throwing another pitch to Donaldson, that's a real bonus.
Watch Teixeira over there at first base. You always want to do that. Show him the glove if you feel like you can get him.
Inside, 3 balls, 1 strike to Josh Donaldson.
This is where it's a good gamble, I think, to start the runner. You got a 3-1 count. Chances are you're going to get a fastball. Just give him a little bit of a head start over there at first.
The Yankees think he's going. Revere has an unusual dive back into first base. He dives back in with his hand right close to his chest instead of extending that hand out. Donaldson steps out of the box. Off the end of the bat. The full count. Revere will run now. There are 2 outs. The Blue Jays have made Eovaldi throw a lot of pitches. He's thrown 84 pitches already. In his last start against the White Sox, he threw a season high 117. They're going to get into this bullpen tonight.
And hopefully you get there before Andrew Miller and Batanchas get there with the lead.
Revere at first. There he goes. Donaldson takes strike 3 called, and he can't believe it. Mark Molchinski, the home plate umpire, calls out Donaldson, and John Gibbons wants to make sure he doesn't lose his third baseman, so Bautista will help Donaldson back toward the dugout, and he didn't think it was a strike. It was high enough that Donaldson felt it was inside.
Anthopoulos pulled it all off. You have to read the latest edition of Sportsnet magazine. We have the inside story into how they became World Series contenders at the trade deadline. You can download the Sportsnet magazine app to get this week's issue. Rogers and Shaw Sportsnet 1 customers can get a digital subscription for free. Visit sportsnet.ca/magazine for details. Arden's Welling, Shai Davidi, a terrific job putting that together.
Sure is a great article, Barry, and we encourage all of you sports fans to check it out. It really talks about how Alex Anthopoulos worked hard to bring these new players into the fold for the Blue Jays just prior to that trade deadline. 9-1-2 for the Yankees here in the fifth. Stephen Drew hooks it foul. Dickey is 4-0 with a 112 earned run average in his last 6 starts against the Yankees. Yankees have had problems with the knuckleballer. We mentioned 2 starts ago, Stephen Wright of the Red Sox beat them 2-1. Joe Girardi told me before the game he wished it was September because he would use all of the extra position players against knuckleballers. He said his regulars came back complaining about the knuckleball they saw from Wright, that it was doing things they'd never seen before.
Afraid that they might put the guys in a slump. So you play the bomber squad?
Cedar Gaston used to always do that when he faced Charlie Huff, who was with the Rangers. John Olerud never hit against Charlie Huff because he didn't want to mess up that picture-perfect swing.
So he put me in there.
You got a lot of chances against Charlie Huff. More at-bats against the knuckleballer Charlie Huff than anybody you ever faced. How'd you do against him?
Thought I did okay. Until I started looking into the numbers.
Yeah, we poured into the record books and found out that Pat Tabler was 15 for 69 against the knuckleballer Charlie Huff. That's a .217 average. But you had a terrific day, opening day, 1984.
Yeah, maybe I kept thinking about that day. I kept replaying that day in my mind.
Donaldson at short throws out Stephen Drew. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, Jamie obviously referring to Daniel Norris facing Ortiz as his first big league appearance and struck out Ortiz at Fenway Park. Not the case tonight. J.D. Martinez for the Tigers hit his 30th home run. That seems to be a theme running around baseball tonight.
That's 3 and counting.
Top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury drives it to center, right at Kevin Pillar.
Boy, Kevin did the right thing right there. As soon as that ball is hit at you like that, you got to turn so you can get a beat on it, so you can either move in or move back. If you stand there flat-footed, that ball is going to jump over your head. He turned right away and then came in just a little bit to finish it off.
I want you to finish the story. Opening day 1984 against Charlie Huff. You were 4 for 4.
4 for 4.
And then what happened?
I got pinched hit for in the 9th inning. And what were we losing? 9-1?
9-1. They lift you for a pinch hitter, and you had a chance to go 5 for 5.
Never went 5 for 5 in my life. That was my only chance, I think.
Opening day.
Opening day against Charlie Huff. Couldn't believe when I was called back. Said, hey, we're going to throw a pinch hitter.
For what?
Why?
Send me up there. Let me get that 5th hit.
Well, that's why I thought I had some better numbers against Charlie than that. I tried all kind of things against getting on top of the plate.
Brett Gardner delivers a 2-out single to right.
You can get back in the box, or you can stand up there and not move until they let go of the ball. There's all kind of theories about trying to hit the knuckleball. I think the first thing you have to do is what Brett Gardner's doing tonight. Make him throw you a strike. That time R.A. threw him a strike, and he got a base hit to right.
Alex Rodriguez has grounded out and walked, and R.A. Dickey's got to keep a close eye on Brett Gardner. Gardner has 15 stolen bases. It's a 1-1 game. Popped up. That'll eliminate the concern about a stolen base. Tulowitzki in front of the bag at second. Rodriguez pops up on the first pitch. That ends the fifth. Heck of a ball game. First of three in the Bronx. It's a 1-1 game.
For on demand and true HD, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and much more. It also includes a free At-Bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Buck, I'm also happy to say it works very well in Newfoundland, where I was for the last week, and there are many, many Blue Jay fans out there that are in love with what's happening right now.
They sure are. A lot of great baseball fans out on the Rock, and they're keeping a close eye on the Blue Jays. That's the case coast to coast. Blue Jays have really captured the imagination of the baseball fans across Canada, and they have come out in droves no matter where the Blue Jays are playing. Jose Bautista will try to get something going here in the sixth. That's fouled off the end of the bat. One and two. Popped up a mile high. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, calls off Headley, and Bautista is retired, entering Edwin Encarnacion to the plate. His last couple of ball games, he's been dialing long distance.
This is so good to see. That was a fastball away. Look how far he hit that ball. Up to the second deck in left center field. Then you try and come in. I love the reaction right there from Kurt Suzuki, the shortstop. He knew that one wasn't coming back. You start getting those guys in the middle of the lineup starting to hit home runs like that, get guys on base, you're going to score a lot of runs.
Encarnacion hit that first home run against J.R. Graham in the fourth inning on Wednesday night, and then Edwin took Kyle Gibson deep last night. Part of a 4 RBI night for Encarnacion.
It's really interesting when you watch Edwin hit. He's way off the plate, really. And he hits from an open stance and then dives into the baseball, but he still has plate coverage on the outside part of the plate. His double tonight was a ball that was away. That was on the outside part of the plate. If you're a pitcher and you see, you look in from where you are on the pitcher's mound, and you see how far off the plate Edwin is, you think you can get him outside. But he's got great plate coverage.
Trying to come in. They missed out over the plate, and Encarnacion missed his pitch. He had a good cut and fouled it straight back. Blue Jays had a home run and a double against Eovaldi in the first. Sandwiched around and walked to Bautista, but all they could manage was the single run on Donaldson's home run. We're in the 6th, and Eovaldi's up over 90 pitches. I'm sure the Blue Jays are saying, I don't care who comes in, let's get this guy out of the game. Ben Revere having a smile as that ball was hit off that screen in front of the dugout, and he dodged what he thought was a hot shot coming into the dugout. They're checking the status of that netting.
Okay, it's not going to reach me in here.
There's that coverage you were talking about, Pat. He's able to spoil that pretty good pitch.
That's a good pitch right there from Eovaldi. Fastball right on the outside part of the plate where Edwin's able to get a piece of it, keep the at-bat alive.
Hot shot. Henley has it. Third baseman throws across the diamond. 2 outs.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We're in the Bronx. It's a 1-1 ball game, first of 3 against the New York Yankees. Justin Smoke started at first base tonight. Good pitch, 98. He hadn't lost a thing on his fastball.
You talk about getting into that bullpen. There's a lot of guys who can throw that hard in the bullpen.
CC Sabathia was the starter for New York last night against the Boston Red Sox. He went 6 innings, and then Justin Wilson, Dellin Betances, and Andrew Miller all pitched an inning apiece. Those 3 combined for 5 strikeouts. Sabathia had 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. This is to the outfield. Drew was deep in the outfield. Smoke's thrown out. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go down in order in their half of the 6th. Blue Jays baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. Quite a ball game going on here in New York. A 1-1 game as we head to the bottom of the 6th. R.A. Dickey and Nathan Eovaldi have held the opponents to just a single run, and they have both been home runs. Josh Donaldson homered in the first. Mark Teixeira homered in the second, and that's been it. R.A. Dickey, another terrific start for Dickey. 84 pitches through 5 innings. It'll be Teixeira, who is 2 for 2 to start things off. This time he pops it up. Russell Martin over near the screen. He's going to jump up. Nope, you can't go in the seats, Russell.
What an effort, though, by Russell
he's athletic,
Martin.
isn't he?
He knows this ballpark, doesn't he?
Yeah, he jumped up on the railing and grabbed the backstop, the screen at the same time to brace himself, but it was out of his reach.
We have seen a couple of athletic plays by Russell this year. Remember the one at Rogers Center where he jumped on top of the netting in front of home plate? He thinks he has a shot at it. Remember, that ball's going to be coming back to you with the backspin on it. Good effort.
1-2 to Teixeira. Teixeira has hit right-handed all night long against Dickey. He has homered and singled to left. Popped up on the infield, smoked the first baseman calling for it. Teixeira's retired for the first time tonight. R.A. Dickey pitching in the sixth, and that has some significance. Dickey's on the list of pitchers that have the most consecutive starts, 6 or more innings, and 2 or fewer earned runs allowed. First is the Yankees since 1969. He's had 6 such starts against New York. 6 or more innings pitched, 2 or fewer earned runs allowed. Mike Caldwell is the leader of that list. He has 8 such games, and that went back to 78-79. Caldwell was a lefty that pitched for the Brewers. I played with Caldwell, and he really had the Yankees number. And Chuck Dobson of the Athletics from 69 to 71. He too dominated New York. How about A.J. Burnett of the Blue Jays? He had 7 straight games, and it's still an ongoing stretch for Burnett. This is a fly ball to left. Ben Revere circles in and makes the catch. McCann's retire.
Okay, you caught Mike Caldwell. Did you hit against Mike Caldwell?
Yeah, I did. He was a sinker ball pitcher and turned it over. A lot of people accused him of throwing a spitter.
Did you face Chuck Dobson?
Yep.
I figured you did. That's going way back there now. That's when the Yankees were not very good.
Chuck Dobson, I had my first major league at bat against him in 1969.
That was your first major league at bat?
Yep.
And you?
I hit one 425 feet to the wall in center.
Really?
Yeah, I flied out my first at bat.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
No.
You hit it 425 feet foul.
No,
that's what I thought you were
dead center in Kansas City in the old ballpark. Rick Mundy caught it up against the wall. This is a pop-up. Russell Martin has a much easier play on this one. How about R.A. Dickey? He has joined that list now. He has 7 straight games, 6 or more. Russell Martin will start things off when we come back, followed by Ryan Goins and then Kevin Pillar. It's a 1-1 game as we head to the 7th.
he posted an unbelievable 22 consecutive complete games. One of the most remarkable performances in Major League history. Sportsnet presents the Rick Langford story. You can watch it Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Sportsnet. Guys, we got to know Rick very well when he was with the Blue Jays, now a senior pitching advisor. And it's so rare to see a complete game these days, let alone 22 consecutive.
Rick Langford threw 85 complete games in his career. In 1980, he had 28 complete games. And he was part of a pitching staff that would go out there, and they all tried to complete every game they pitched. Michael Norris, Rick Langford, Steve McCatty, Matt Keogh.
Did you say Brian Kingman?
Brian Kingman. He lost a ton of games that year. Brian Kingman was 8-20. Michael Norris was 22-9. To give you an idea, the complete games, Norris had 24, Keogh had 20, Langford had 28, Kingman had 10, and Steve McCatty had 11. They had 94 complete games in a 162-game season.
That was the A's, right?
Yep.
Billy Martin?
Billy Martin's A's. Quite a pitching duel, contrasting styles to be sure. The power of Nathan Eovaldi and the finesse of the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. It's a 1-1 game. We're in the center. Russell Martin singled his last time up. He had a 2-out single to center. That's the pitch he hit the last time up. This time it was a little further outside. Justin Wilson, we mentioned Wilson pitched an inning last night. He threw 17 pitches against the Red Sox. He's ready, just standing by watching Nathan Eovaldi. Martin strikes out. Third strikeout of the night for Eovaldi.
Eovaldi looks like he's getting stronger as this game goes along. There's the splitter where he took his 2 fingers there, the index and that middle finger, and pinched them together just a little bit more where he can control that ball. And he's had good results.
In 22 starts, Eovaldi has averaged 94.7 pitches per start. Tonight he's up over 100. Last time out he had a season high 117 against the White Sox. Brian Goins, he can reach the seats here in Yankee Stadium. He just needs to get a good fastball. He drilled one to center at Rogers Center, his 3rd home run of the season.
He drilled one his first time up to left center. If he could pull that ball, it would have been a home run.
The way this game started looked like it was going to be a high-scoring game. Both teams had a home run by the 2nd inning, but that's been it. Just 2 solo home runs have accounted for the runs in this game. R.A. Dickey has been terrific once again tonight.
You know, it's a good pitch for him, that split finger fastball. You can see how the fingers let that ball come right out, and he gets a nice little tumbling motion and some action on that pitch. Supposed to act like a changeup, but when you get that movement like that, it's like a strikeout pitch.
He made an adjustment, as you mentioned, where he narrowed the grip on that split finger pitch, and it created a little bit more command for him, and it acted like that split finger fastball that Jack Morris threw, and he was able to throw it more consistently. Larry Rothschild's in his 5th season as the pitching coach here, and he's a good one. That's over the mound. Stephen Drew coming in from second, and the ball's off Teixeira's glove. And it looked like Goins did not touch the base. He hustled back and slid in safely.
That's a heads-up play by Ryan Goins. First of all, taps the ball over the mound. And what happened, Goins hit first base and then made a move like he was going to second base. I've been watching Brian McCann do this all night. He's been backing up every throw at first base. Watch Goins once he gets by the bag. He makes a move and then realizes, hey, I am fair game right here. And McCann alertly backed up the play. hit the bag. Watch that movement right there. And he knows now they have a chance to get him, so he hustles back to first base.
Yeah, that one step he took towards second, he's fair game once you're beyond the bag, and that's a good pickup. Both Goins and McCann picking up on that play.
But I've been watching McCann all night, and you talk about this all the time, Buck. Catchers, when the ball's hit, you got a job to do. And he has been backing up first base on any ground ball to the infield or a base hit into the outfield. He's gone somewhere. I mean, those are the kind of things that just don't show up in the box score.
That's how you win championships. Everybody's got a place to be on every play. One out for Kevin Pillar. Outside, it's 2-0. Teixeira charged with an error on that play. That's his third error of the season. It's a rare error charged to Teixeira. He's a 5-time Gold Glover with great hands over at first, but he stretched and the ball went off the tip of his glove. Little tapper. Headley comes across from third, hesitates, and all hands are safe. Headley didn't feel the ball in his glove and then tried to re-grab it, but it was there. By the time he realized that, it was too late.
Kevin Pillar's going to get a base hit on that one. Headley, you saw him come in, and he had a play if he could have fielded it cleanly, transferred the ball from his glove to his hand cleanly. Watch when he reaches in there. He's not sure he has it and goes to transfer it. He's got that changeup grip. Right there. There's the changeup grip, and he was smart not to throw the ball. Might have thrown it away.
So that will chase Eovaldi from this ball game. The air and the infield hit, 2 aboard, 1 out. Eovaldi out of the game. Justin Wilson in to face Ben Revere. And that has rekindled the interest about baseball here in the greater New York area. Lots of Met fans anxious to see this thing play itself out. Both teams in first place. Justin Wilson makes his 50th appearance of the season, and this is the one flaw in the Blue Jays roster right now. They'd love to have a right-handed hitting defensive outfielder on their roster. Ben Revere, the lefty bat, has hit left-handers well for his career. He's got a career 300 average against them, but this might be an opportunity where you would use Chris Colabello off the bench and have a right-handed hitting good defensive outfielder to take over in left.
Take his place. You probably see that in September when rosters expand. Now you're going to have to go up against a tough lefty.
Revere chases that high pitch at 96. Colabello's a terrific bat off the bench, but he's not the kind of defensive player you want to put out in left field in a tight ball game.
Blue Jays only have 3 players on their bench. They won't carry an extra reliever, and Aaron Sanchez is finishing up his suspension tonight.
He will be active tomorrow for game 2 of this series. That's going to reach the seats down the left side. You mentioned the velocity they have down in their bullpen, and Wilson is the first of some good arms we're going to see tonight.
This is exactly where I was going to go. They got lefties and righties. They got 3 lefties and 4 righties, and they can all throw the ball. Wilson, he's got exceptional life on that fastball. It's mid to upper 90s at times. He's got a big breaking ball. His fastball will cut at times. Gets a lot of swings and misses.
Wilson came to the Yankees in a trade with Pittsburgh for Francisco Cervelli during the offseason. Mike Winters calls Revere for the swing. That was a nasty slider, and he couldn't hold up.
Boy, this could work out for the Blue Jays. They use one of the lefties to go against Revere. He thinks he holds up on that breaking ball, and he says no, and he can't believe it's called a strike. But now, after the strikeout and a right-handed hitter coming up, Joe Girardi's going to go back to his bullpen and bring in their stopper.
Dellin Betances, the 8th-inning pitcher for the Yankees, will work for a second consecutive night. The Yankee players might think this isn't a big series, but Joe Girardi does. Seventh inning at Yankee Stadium. It's a 1-1 game, and Joe Girardi has gone to his bullpen twice here in the 7th. He used Justin Wilson for 1 batter. Wilson struck out Ben Revere, and now Dellin Betances, the big right-hander, in to face Troy Tulowitzki.
He's got a lot of weapons down in that bullpen, and he goes to him frequently. This is his 51st game, which puts him 2nd in the American League in that department. He's got great numbers. He's 6'8", and he really throws downhill. Throws hard fastball and a hard breaking ball. Tulowitzki's going to have to turn it up a notch.
Tulowitzki has never faced Betances. That might have something to do with Girardi going to his big righty so quickly here in the 7th. He's got a nasty breaking ball, and it comes from a devastating angle at 6'8".
Goes downhill. Does he ever? 50 games, 56 innings, 89 strikeouts out of the bullpen.
Two and 0. Tulowitzki, then Donaldson if Tulowitzki can reach. The benefit of putting Tulowitzki up in the leadoff spot is he'll face the tough pitchers out of the bullpen. first. 3-0. DeMarlo Hale going over the lineup card, scratching off Wilson, putting Betances in there. 3-0 to Tulowitzki. Ball 4, that'll load the bases for Donaldson. The drive of the game is brought to you by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You know, we've said this a few times this year. We're going to give it to Josh Donaldson once again. First inning, his first at bat against Nathan Eovaldi. He takes him deep to right field for number 30. And as always, as he crosses home plate, signals to Marcus Stroman with that 6 that he is thinking about him. Blue Jays would love to have another one right here.
Donaldson takes the ball. That's 5 straight balls for Betances. Donaldson, with the bases loaded, has hit .422 for his career. Taking all the way. It's a ball on the strike. Donaldson called out on a questionable pitch in the 5th. Bases are loaded. Goins, Pilar, and Tulowitzki.
How do you hold off on that pitch from swinging?
So many of these hitters in this Blue Jays lineup have the ability to think swing, swing, swing until they see it's a ball. They're always thinking about swinging. Fouled off back over the screen. It's 2-2.
Well, this is where Betances gets really tough right here because he's got a fastball and that hard breaking ball. As a hitter, just look for the pitch.
Ground ball. Stephen Drew at second. Blue Jays will leave the bases loaded. Dylan Betances pitches out at a tough spot after walking Tulowitzki. He gets Donaldson the ground out. It's still a 1-1 game.
August 15th when the Blue Jays host these same Yankees at 107. Join us pregame outside Gate 10 for inflatables, activities, and lots of fun. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Go to BlueJays.com for more details. And Buck, a lot of junior Jays here at the ballpark tonight.
A lot of Blue Jay fans wherever they play, and they have been treated to another fine outing by R.A. Dickey. He will start the 7th here, throwing 96 pitches. He has outlasted Nathan Eovaldi, the 25-year-old for the Yankees.
You can do that when you throw that knuckleball like that, even at 40 years old. 6 innings, 5 hits, an earned run. Last game, he threw 50 knuckleballs that were somewhere between 79 and 81 miles per hour, so he's getting stronger. He said, I was throwing it hard like that, but I wasn't laboring to do it. And that's where the mechanics of my pitching motion come in right there. If I can really use my lower half, I'm just going to take a lot of stress off my arm.
R.A. Dickey for his career is 1-2 here at Yankee Stadium with a .263 earned run average. He's held the opponents to a batting average under 200 here at Yankee Stadium. It'll be Headley, Gregorius, and Stephen Drew, bottom third of the Yankees lineup. It goes off Martin's glove back to the screen. It's a ball on the strike. Boy, Dickey has had a terrific knuckleball over this recent stretch of good outings. To his credit, he has worked hard to figure out the mystery of that knuckleball this season. And a disappointing start to his season. He had come into this game, as you see Hawkins, the Troy Hawkins, loosening up. Dickey, at the start of this game, had gone 4 straight starts without allowing a home run. Mark Teixeira had a paint-scraping home run in the second to snap that streak. Chase Headley with a 3-2 count. Pops it up into center. High fly ball for Pilar. 1 down.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Get toward Yankee Stadium, right behind home plate. And a beautiful shot of the exterior of this wonderful ballpark. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, just 25 years old. Of course, he has a unfortunate situation of taking over at shortstop after number 2, Derek Jeter. And I think early on that may have caused him problems, but lately he's relaxed and he knows now he's the shortstop, and nobody will draw comparisons between he and Jeter any longer.
No, you can't. That's not fair to him. You know, he's basically just starting his big league career right now. He's, from everything that I see and hear, that he's doing a good job defensively for this team. That was the first order of business, I think, for the Yankees this past offseason. Go find a shortstop after Derek Jeter retired.
Dickey drops that knuckleball in there for a strike. It's 1-2. Tulowitzki wears number 2, and he too is a big admirer of Derek Jeter's. Fair ball. Donaldson with a long throw. Not in time. Gregorius reaches his second hit of the night. Gregorius with good speed, batting from that left-handed hitting batter's box, got out of the box in good shape.
And just slapped at that ball and somehow was able to keep that ball fair down the left side of the infield. Watch Josh Donaldson do everything he can to try and make this play. Bare-hands it, plants the foot and gets rid of it quickly and throws accurately, but Gregorius just runs too well.
I have been around this game a long time, and I've never seen a third baseman make that play so easily. You see third basemen all the time grab the little rollers barehanded, but Donaldson takes bouncing balls barehanded and makes good throws.
Yeah, and the danger of that, if you miss that, Gregorius is on second base.
I don't think Josh Donaldson thinks of the negative of it.
Nope. You know, early on this season, DeMarlo Hale said to you and me, he says he's a risk taker, but he's a playmaker. And is that ever true?
Stephen Drew 0 for 2 so far. Bottom of the 7th, a 1-1 game. Now the Blue Jays are going to shift their defense around. Donaldson will move over from the shortstop position. Now he moves to the right side of the infield, going straight away at second, and Tulowitzki at short.
Boy, this is scary. I think if you're the Blue Jays, you can drop a bunt down to the left side of the infield if you're Stephen Drew and walk to first base.
Well, another thing that has to factor in is the pitcher on a stolen base attempt needs to hustle to third base. Tulowitzki's going to cover the bag. Gregorius runs well, and there's nobody over at third.
Yeah. Catcher is not going to get there.
Fouled straight back. Stephen Drew hitting under 200, but he's got some power.
That's why I'm surprised he's not trying to just push a ball onto the infield grass at third base. There's nobody there. Look at that.
It's a 1-1 game. We're in the 7th. You would think that would be a perfect opportunity. And he pops it up. Russell Martin flips the mask aside, goes back to the screen, and makes the catch. Martin did a great job of getting to that screen behind home plate, leaned in and picked it before it hit that netting.
He's a Gold Glove winner, former Gold Glove winner. Watch him find it, get rid of the mask, and now hustle over to the screen and pick it before it hits the fence. One more time with that big glove, and it goes right into his glove.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. You got the knuckleball glove, and Joe Girardi was questioning the home plate umpire, Mike Molchinski, whether or not it hit the netting. If it had, it would have been a dead ball, no catch. Two outs. Jacoby Ellsbury has gone 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Well, I think this is a good time to run if you're Didi Gregorius, don't you? 7th inning, you got 2 outs, you got the leadoff batter up in Ellsbury trying to get into scoring position.
And you're at home. You know you're going to get another at bat, and you'll be the last to hit. So why not roll the dice with Ellsbury? Jacoby was 2 for 4 against his former team last night with a decisive home run. Dickey has now thrown 111 pitches, but doesn't seem like it's a factor. Perfect night to play here in New York. No humidity whatsoever. It's really comfortable. A little bit slower knuckleball than Ellsbury. All he could do was foul it back. Ellsbury has been caught looking at strike 3 twice tonight, and he also flied out to center. There goes Gregorius. The ball is grounded to short. Tulowitzki had coverage. It took him right to the baseball near second. And R.A. Dickey, another 7-inning outing. He's held the Yankees to a single run on 6 hits. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Smoke.
Presented by Bacardi. The next one goes Friday, August 14th, when the Blue Jays face these same Yankees at 7:07. Get to the ballpark early for our pregame festival outside of Gate 10. Gates will open at 4:30, and you can enjoy a live performance by special guests, and these guys are great. Monster Truck will be in the license area. Go to BlueJays.com for more details. Bye.
Thank you very much, Barry. And you'll see that the Yankees will be right back in Toronto against this Blue Jay team. That's a little looper in front of Ellsbury, and he's not going to get there. Ellsbury throws on the big swing by Jose Bautista, and he bloops one into center for a leadoff single here in the 8th.
That's where your reputation gets yourself a base hit right there. You're going to be playing deep first of all, because the go-ahead run is at the plate. You can see Ellsbury in center field. Took a half a step back. It's off the end of the bat. Falls in harmlessly for a leadoff hit.
Cheer hits for Bautista tonight. 2 for 4. Check that. Bautista is 1 for 3 with a walk. Leadoff single. Dellin Betances came in with 2 outs in the 7th and walked to Tulowitzki, but then got Donaldson with the bases loaded.
Well, you just had to figure that Joe Girardi wanted this right-hander versus the right-handed part of this lineup towards the end of the game. You knew it was coming.
Girardi went to his bullpen with 1 out in the 7th. Justin Wilson struck out Ben Revere, and then Betances came in. How much do you think Girardi was thinking about David Price starting in tomorrow's game when he went to the bullpen so quickly?
Yeah, he could have. He could have been thinking about the start tomorrow with Price against his team, saying, I got to have this one right here, so I need a shutdown inning from my relievers. So he brings in his best relievers in a tie ball game.
They mentioned that both Wilson, who pitched before Betances pitched in last night's game, as did Andrew Miller, the lefty. Donaldson was looking for that slider and had a mighty cut. Edwin is 3 for 7 against the big righty. That's a .429 average. Well, he took something off that slider and strikes out Encarnacion, 1 down. Well, the Yankees lead the American League East. They're 4.5 games up on the Blue Jays, and they're 6 games up in the loss column. Baltimore 3 games over 500. They trail the Yankees by 6. Tampa Bay a game under. They're 8 back, and then Boston Red Sox bringing up the rear. Justin Smoke. Betances doesn't come to a very definitive stop in that set position. He kind of gathers and goes. Drops that slider in there. 0-1 to Smoke. Colabello and Navarro, a couple of potent bats on the bench. There aren't many pinch hitting opportunities in this Blue Jay lineup.
Yeah, so you have to pick and choose wisely. Of course, you only have 3 guys on your bench tonight.
Bautista got a great jump, and Smoke fouls it back. Bautista timed his break perfectly, as Betances didn't pay any attention to Jose.
Well, he's got such a high leg kick, Dellin Betances. And it takes a long time to see Jose. He wanted that stolen base right there. Generates so much power on that mound. That Bautista is going to try and pick his pocket.
That's not much of a stop, as Betances just barely hesitates and changes direction. The definition of that stop, you have to come to a complete stop, and literally then you can change directions, but that last time he didn't stop. Ball in the dirt. Bautista stays put at first. 1-1 game. We're in the 8th. Hits are even at 6 apiece. The only runs coming on home runs. Donaldson and Teixeira have both hit their 30th home run of the season tonight. The Blue Jays over their 10-game homestand out-homered their opponents 16-5, winning 8 of 10. Smoke is called out on a low pitch. Mike Malinsky, the home plate umpire, rings him up, and he's had a couple of beefs on called third strikes, and John Gibbons felt like that was low as well. The Smoke strikes out, and now Russell Martin.
Josh Donaldson had a beef earlier. Gibby saying, hey, this guy's tough enough to hit. You give him pitches off the plate, too.
Russell Martin. Martin is 1 for 3. Boy, that was a very awkward step off the rubber. That came real close to being a balk. Looked like Bautista got his foot stuck as he was trying to step off the rubber.
Jose was trying to time him up, and he actually bluffed like he was going.
Boy, Bautista's throwing a lot of sliders, isn't he?
More so than I remember.
He's got a good slider, but he also throws 98. Bautista is on the move. Strike. Throw to second. Not in time. Jose picks up his 5th steal of the season. Gets himself into scoring position. Boy, he's a good base runner. Doesn't run often, but he picks his spots very well.
Understands the game. Picks his spot, and he's successful. Russell Martin says, you know what, I'm going to try and let this guy get into scoring position, so he takes a pitch right there. And Jose is safe at second with his 5th stolen base. Now he's dancing off of second base. I mean, he was almost halfway to third before Bautista recognized it.
Martin jumps back from an inside breaking ball. 3-1. Jason Shreve, the left-hander, is loosening up quickly in the Yankee bullpen. There's that backup breaking ball, and Martin nearly got hit on that elbow pad. Fair ball. Teixeira stretches. The Blue Jays will strand a base runner. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th in New York. It's a 1-1 game now. For a Blue Jays Central update, here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Song.
So, Sportsnet's MLB Live Tracker is exactly what you need. Get play-by-play updates, batter hit zone charts, real-time win percentage, and get MLB Live Tracker by clicking on any game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker. It's also available through the Sportsnet app, a great way to follow your favorite game. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. It is a great way to follow the game, and if you had that tracker, you'd know that LaTroy Hawkins is into the game now. He'll make his 29th appearance of the season.
He's allowed just one earned run over his last 17 and third innings pitched. Of course, he picked up that save, his first save with the Blue Jays. His last time out, that was against Minnesota. Pitching, he had a couple of hits in that inning, but pitched around it. And with that save, LaTroy Hawkins now has saves against all 30 major league teams. He is one of 13 players that can claim that.
He is on here pitching at Yankee Stadium, and it's hard to believe this is just his 5th career appearance at Yankee Stadium. He's played 21 seasons. He's 42 years old, and this is just his 5th appearance here. And he's got to deal with the tough number 2 hitter, Brett Gardner. Leads things off for New York. It'll be Gardner, Alex Rodriguez, and Mark Teixeira. It's a 1-1 game. We are in the bottom of the 8th. Hawkins misses with that first pitch fastball. Well, R.A. Dickey again doing a terrific job, allowing just 1 run on 6 hits. Dickey drops his ERA to 3.93 for the season. He's under 4. Smoke into right. A leadoff single for Brett Gardner. Alex Rodriguez. He's 0 for 2 with a walk so far tonight. Rodriguez and Hawkins have faced each other a lot over the years. Alex Rodriguez is 8 for 33 against the veteran right-hander. They are both 40 years old. Rodriguez turned 40 on the 27th of July. Hawkins is 42. First pitch strike.
You know, we were talking earlier about Ben Revere running in front of the power of the Blue Jays. The Yankees have the same problem here with Brett Gardner at first base. When do you run in front of A-Rod and Teixeira?
The Yankees have only 1 stolen base since the All-Star break, and that was Mark Teixeira. Ground ball. This could be 2. Goins to Tulowitzki. Back to first. It is a double play. LaTroy Hawkins gets the ground ball and erases the leadoff single as Rodriguez grounds into the 4-6-3 double play.
He just has that ability to get that ball in at times. It looked like he really jammed up A-Rod and just couldn't extend through that ball. And then the middle of the diamond does the rest right there. Goins to Tulowitzki over to Smoke. 1 pitch and 2 outs.
Well, Gardner was all over Tulowitzki, but he got up in the air and avoided contact with Gardner. Completes the double play. Mark Teixeira. Hawkins throws a perfect pitch inside. Teixeira batting left-handed for the first time tonight. He took his 3 at-bats against Dickey, all as a right-handed hitter. Wow. 2 good pitches. That comeback fastball inside to Teixeira. Donaldson playing almost at straightaway shortstop as they put the shift on for Teixeira. What a job by LaTroy Hawkins. He gives up a leadoff single, gets a double play, and strikes out Teixeira. The defense has been improved dramatically with the arrival of Troy Tulowitzki. He jumps out of the way of the hard slide to turn 2. We'll go to the 9th.
everywhere. And if you're a Rogers Share Everything customer traveling to the U.S. like these folks right here, you can share your experience and stay connected with Roam Like Home for $5 a day. Visit Rogers.com/Roam Like Home for all the details. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry, and we will go to the top of the ninth. Ryan Goins, the scheduled batter. It'll be Chris Colabello coming off the bench. He'll bat for Goins. Goins finishes up the night 0 for 3. Andrew Miller, the closer, in for the Yankees.
Yeah, and this is why they're going to bring a pinch hitter in. Look at the numbers for Andrew Miller. It's a closer. 24 for 24, 37 innings. He's only had 13 walks and 55 strikeouts.
Base hit for Colabello. Off the wall in right. He's going to stop at first. Chris Colabello coming off the bench and delivers a first pitch single to right. Munenori Kawasaki will take over at first as the pinch runner. But Colabello starts off the ninth with a solid single to right.
And it came oh so close getting down into that corner and becoming extra bases for Colabello. Inside out swing on that first pitch fastball. Look where it hits down the right field line. It hits off that wall, that short wall, and bounces right to Beltran, so he's got to stop at first base. If that gets down into the corner, that's extra bases.
So the leadoff man's aboard. Terrific at bat. Colabello, he always likes to swing early in his at bats, and he jumped on the first pitch from Miller. Now Kevin Pillar. Pillar pushes the bunt up the first baseline. Teixeira will flip it to Drew covering first, and Kawasaki moves to second.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Kawasaki represents the go-ahead run. It's a 1-1 game. He took over as a pinch runner for Colabello. Pillar drops down the sacrifice bunt. Ben Revere, he singled in the fifth against Eovaldi. 1 for 3. Troy Tulowitzki, the leadoff man, he had a big at bat in the seventh against Dylan Betances, and he will hit here in the ninth against Andrew Miller. Ground ball pulled to first. Kawasaki will move to third, but now there are 2 outs. That was interesting that Gibbons used the sacrifice bunt after the leadoff single. But when you think about it, he wanted to roll the dice and make sure that Tulowitzki came up to hit against Miller with the go-ahead run on base. Instead of letting Pillar swing, risking the chance of a double play, he used the bunt even though he had the left-handed batter Revere next.
That's exactly why he did that, because he wanted this matchup right here. He wanted Tulowitzki hitting with the runner in scoring position. Against great relievers like the Yankees have, Betances and Miller, you might only have one shot at trying to drive in a run because they're so tough. And this is the shot right here.
Tulowitzki 0 for 3 head-to-head against Miller, but he's been a terrific hitter in clutch situations. Kawasaki inching off at third. Line drive to right. Beltran is there. The inning is over. The Blue Jays get a leadoff pinch single from Colabello, but stranded runner at third will go to the bottom of the ninth.
standing. And they are returning to Rogers Center. In fact, on Friday, August 14th, it's a 7:07 start. Word is tickets are pretty much sold out, but you can take in the ball game from the comfort of an Acura luxury suite at the Rogers Center. Your single ticket includes hostess and food for only $150. Reserve your ticket before they are gone. Go to BlueJays.com or call 416-341-1635. Buck, a very, very hot ticket right now.
Sure is a hot ticket, Barry, and there are going to be plenty of situations where the Rogers Center will be sold out. Brett Cecil coming into this tie game, bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, the numbers for Cecil in the 40 games this season for Brett, a whip of 1.18. He's also struck out more than a batter an inning. Nori Kawasaki stays in the ball game, and he will play second base here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Brian McCann, the catcher, gets set. He is 0 for 3 so far. Cecil throws that breaking ball, and McCann wouldn't chase. McCann against lefty pitching, 256 for the season. Laying off that breaking ball. Cecil's made some adjustments with his set position, working out of the stretch.
Yeah, he always works out of the stretch, but he's lowered his hands just a little bit. You can see he's right at the belt buckle now. Kind of like Mark Burley does. Felt like he was, when his hands were in the higher position, that he might have been tipping his pitches. So Pete Walker went back and they looked at some tape, and at his suggestion said, let's put your hands right at the belt buckle right there so you can't give away your pitches. Felt like his elbow was doing something to give away his pitches.
There he drops that one in there for his strike.
Brett also said that his timing feels a lot better with his hands right at his side. I like that. Not a lot of wasted motion.
Ground ball up the middle. Tulowitzki. No, Donaldson makes the play. And how about Smoke over at first? Donaldson cut in front of Tulowitzki. And Smoke digs one out of the dirt. He's as good as there is on those low throws in the dirt.
In the shift, this one is going to go right over the bag. Right over the mound, then right over the bag. And anytime that third baseman can cut in, you can see his momentum taking him over towards first base. It's a shorter throw. It bounces, but look at Justin Smoke going out there and stabbing it.
Smoke saved Donaldson in the air in Toronto, taking a low throw and scooping it. There's a base hit for Beltran. Looked like he was looking on the curveball, and he gets a one-out single. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central, here's Ken Reed and Jackie Redmond. Thank you very much, Jackie, and that will follow this game. Chris Young has taken over as a pinch runner for Beltran at first. Quite a ball game. 1-1, bottom of the ninth. Chase Headley takes strike one. Ground ball foul wide of third. 0-2 to Headley, the third baseman. Headley singled the center off Dickey into second. He has since grounded into a double play and flat out. Kawasaki took over as a pinch runner. He's now playing second. Blue Jays have turned two double plays tonight. Young is 3 for 4 in steal attempts this season. Ground ball, fair ball. Donaldson to second for one. Kawasaki, a terrific turn at second. Chris Young, the pinch runner, with a hard slide on Kawasaki, but he hung in there, and the Blue Jays turned their third double play of the night. Donaldson goes toward the line, makes a strong throw to second. Kawasaki with a quick turn at second. We'll go to the 10th. Pinder, he's a rookie, came out of Long Beach State, 26 years old, and he was a 16th round pick of the Yankees in 2011, 14th appearance.
Another one of those guys that come out of the farm system for the Yankees, throwing hard. His fastball's got some movement on it, a mid to upper 90s fastball, effective slider, mostly fastball slider. That's what he'll usually use. He throws strikes as Chris Young stays in the ball game in right field. The Yankees have done a good job of starting to sprinkle their roster with young players from their farm system.
For a long time, they didn't pay attention to their minor league system. They got a little bit old. Now they are aware of that, and they have tried to add in some younger players. This is Josh Donaldson facing Pinder. First pitch breaking ball. There's that slider you were talking about.
Mostly a reliever when he was in the minor leagues. Josh Donaldson was hunting fastball on that first pitch.
Extra inning games. The Blue Jays are 4-5. The Yankees are 2-5. Kind of an interesting number for New York. I tell you what has happened now. The Blue Jays have the advantage with bullpens. The Yankees have used Wilson, Betances, and Miller. Those are their three big horses.
Three best relievers are out of the ball game now. Now let's see if the Blue Jays can take advantage of it. They're going to be facing some pitchers out of that bullpen they're not familiar with.
96 upstairs, and Donaldson bends back out of the way. The Blue Jays still have their closer, Osuna, Hendricks, Schultz, and Lowe from the right side, and Aaron Loup from the left. Jose Bautista singled his last time up. Tough assignment for Brandon Pinder. Drops that breaking ball in there. It's 2-2.
You know, it's also a tough assignment for the Blue Jay hitters. They don't know anything about this guy. His first time up in the big leagues. It's only his 13th game.
Breaking ball, line to Gregorius. He took a couple of steps to his left and he snared the liner. There was another breaking ball, and Bautista will have that information now.
And you can bet everybody on that bench for the Blue Jays paying attention to see what this young pitcher is throwing up there. Likes that slider, goes back to it, and into that. Oh, so close. But Gregorius hauls it in.
Jose Bautista 1 for 3 with a walk tonight. There's another slider. You see this to a couple of batters, and Blue Jays experienced hitters are going to look for slider. '97 upstairs. Bautista thought that was high. John Gibbons hasn't been thrilled about the strike zone tonight. Pretty good velocity for the slider. It's 88 to go along with that hard fastball.
Pretty good velocity for a guy who was a 16th round draft pick.
Bautista hits it high and deep to left. Gardner at the wall. Goodbye home run. Jose Bautista has given the Blue Jays the lead here in the 10th. His 25th of the season.
Not a lot of information that you can go on, but you could sit there and watch the guy in front of you, and it looked like Jose did his homework. Had an idea what he was going to get from the young pitcher Pinder, and took advantage of it. That ball was crushed to left field.
For Bautista, home run number 25. It's the 3rd home run Pinder has allowed.
Let's watch it one more time. Looked like a slider that just straightened out. And it was elevated.
For Bautista, that's his 14th home run here at Yankee Stadium. This is his 45th career game here in the Bronx.
One more time. Bautista, how deep it is to left field. And it just barely gets over.
Encarnacion foul chips it into the glove of McCann. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. There's a lot of frustration with that Tiger team. They traded David Price. Then the GM is let go, Dave Dombrowski, and it's been a disappointing season for the Tigers. Justin Smoke, it's a one-hopper into shallow right. That'll end the 10th, but how about the Blue Jays? They've hit 2 home runs tonight. Jose Bautista with the extra inning home run here in the 10th. For Bautista, his 25th of the season. RBI number 77. A deep shot to left. The Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Jose Bautista, with one swing of the bat in the 10th, has given the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead. And this is the opening game of a 3-game series. Now, Roberto Osuna will come into a ball game looking for his 9th save, and this is the same mound Osuna made his major league debut on back in April.
Yeah, if you remember that, they got a strikeout, threw the ball out of play in that game. And here we are in August, and Roberto Osuna is now the closer for the Blue Jays. He's worked in 46 games. He's 8 for 9 in saves. Right-handers hitting 178, lefties 205. He's only walked 12 batters this year. Buck, trying to make that home run by Bautista stand up.
You got to take advantage of where you are in the lineup. 8-9-1 for New York. Didi Gregorius, a 2-hit night. Fly ball into center. Pilar is there. 1 up, 1 down here in the 10th. Osuna made his major league debut here on opening day against the Yankees. He came in to face Alex Rodriguez, first batter he faced in his big league career, and he struck out Rodriguez looking. Then he got the ball back from the catcher. Osuna called timeout and threw the ball out of play.
Threw it right to his trophy case.
Stephen Drew, he gets jammed and fouls it back. Marco Estrada will pitch on Sunday, and he's on quite a roll. Estrada has established a new career high with 9 wins. The Blue Jays have scored 2 runs on 8 hits. Ground ball. Kawasaki at second. 2 down. Munenori Kawasaki turned a heck of a double play to end the 9th. He hung in there and took a hard slide from the pinch runner Chris Young and was able to turn the double play to end the inning. That sent the game into extras.
Yeah, he knew he was going to get clobbered by that base runner. Hung right in there. Threw a strike over to first base. Had a little something on it.
Now Ellsbury with 2 outs in the 10th. Ground ball, smoke, that'll do it. How about Osuna? 3 up, 3 down in the 10th, no problem. And the Blue Jays win it 2-1. Jose Bautista with the game-winning home run in the 10th. All the runs in this ball game coming on the home run.
Yeah, you want to talk about a statement. The Blue Jays wanted to make a statement, I think, here the first game in New York that, hey, they're for real. And it worked out beautifully for the Blue Jays. After the home run, they had Osuna to try to finish this one off. R.A. Dickey, an outstanding effort tonight. And then the home run once again for the Blue Jays. They've now hit 34 since the All-Star break.
The Blue Jays go up 1 game on the Yankees in this series. They have won 5 of 7 for the season series. We'll be back at it tomorrow afternoon. David Price.